And the Bible says Jesus wept. So you are human like us. You are touched with the feelings of our infirmity. You are in all point tempted like we are, but God, you are sinless. You are without sin. So Lord, you're able to comfort. You're able to strengthen today. And God, today may you strengthen some hearts today. Somebody who might be at the point of their need. Someone who may need a breakthrough in their life, in their finances, in their situation, in their health. Oh God, you just arise with healing in your wings and you just minister today, Lord. Touch that person who's sick and really need that touch today, Lord, in a special way. Touch that mental situation, whatever the enemy, depression, grief sometimes, stress, Lord. Today we pray that you will just be alongside them, be that comforter, comfort the comfortless, Lord. Defend the weak and the poor and the vulnerable, Lord. Lift them up today, Lord. Lift their spirit, oh God. And Lord, I just pray that today, most of all, somebody would recognize the need for you, the need of salvation. They recognize I cannot make it on my own. I've been trying, I've been struggling, I've been going round and about and coming back to the same situation. God, help me to say, Lord, be merciful to me, a sinner. Lord, reach down and touch me. Lord, deliver me today. Defend me. Be my defender, Lord. Some people go through different situations that they need you to break through in their situation, in their circumstances, Lord. Today may they cry out to you. You are not far. You are not deaf. Your hand is not short. You cannot save. You cannot defend, Lord. You are the defense of the weak. You strengthen those in need, Lord, today. So, God, we just take of you today. We continue to pray for those who use the road, Lord, today. You just cover them under your precious blood against accident and harm. We've been hearing every week with how much amount of accidents that are happening on our roads, Lord. And we pray that people would heed the warning to do not drink and drive, do not use excessive speed limit that they cannot control on. And Father God, we pray for safety of our relatives, our families, those who drive their bus, do not just take it for granted, Lord, but God, you make sure they submit their vehicles and make sure the things are running properly, Lord, so we can minimize the effect of these accidents, Lord. Because those of us use the road to sometimes we walk in the road careless and carefree to that. God, we would be careful. And Lord, even as we go through this COVID, there's time, Lord, it's not over, this is over, Lord. We see so many people again on the buses without masks, they walk in the street careless, Lord. We continue to pray that we will not just take it for granted, Lord, but God, we will do everything within our effort to mitigate, the damages and the cause and the exposure that we could expose ourselves to and our families. So, Lord, today we just continue to ask of you that you change our stubborn heart, our rebellious heart. And sometimes we willfully do the things that we know we should not do. And we just say, oh, it's well. But God, sometimes when we think it's well, it will not be well. So, Father God, we just continue to ask your blessing today, your care today over our nation, your covering. If you're for the children, if now we're hearing you have a choice whether to do the exam this year or next year. We pray, God, that our students will be able to do the exams this year. And Lord, they'll be able to be successful, Lord. We pray for our principals, our teachers. We continue to pray blessings over them. And Lord, I know they are good teachers, they are good students, they are good principals who will ensure that their students, get the best of care and teaching even in this difficult time. You know what is before them. But Lord, we pray that the love of God will come to their heart. Will continue to help them to love the students, and the students will continue to love, and you push them forward. I know they want to see the successes. They want to rejoice at the end. So, Lord, we ask you to bless today and continue to help them, even in these difficult times where they have to look out for the children. It's not normal time. We continue to bless them and we continue to give them that tender heart as a parent that they will care. And I know they are caring. I know they are loved. They might want the extras, Lord, but I know they will be able to go the extra mile because of the love and the comfort and the willingness to see the students succeed. So Lord bless today and we just give you thanks. But by Mr. Donald today, strengthen him today, heal him, touch him, Lord. Give him a double portion of you, Lord. You know what he needs it most. You know his heart desire to give this radio station to honor you and to glorify you. All that he desired this year, Lord, I pray, Lord, you bring it into fruition. And we continue to trust you. And bless his staff, bless his ministry, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Lord.
Morning, sis.
Hi, how
How
are
are you
you?
doing?
Okay, Mr. Lord.
You okay?
Everything good? Yeah.
I'm all right. How's that?
It's good.
And the lady?
There.
Give my love and respect.
Okay.
Take care.
You have a blessed day.
You too.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Real 91.9, 91.5, www.realfmgrenada.com. Good morning, good morning, good morning to every single one of you. It's every day I come here to sit with you. Yeah, because I consider myself sitting in your midst. If you having breakfast, I consider myself sitting there having breakfast with you. You're sitting in your living room, in your bedroom. Well, I'm turning because I I'm not supposed to see you, all naked and stuff. So I'm turning, giving you that privacy. But I'm there with you. I feel blessed every day, given that opportunity to share with you. Good morning, Drumstick. How are you doing? Hello?
Praise the Lord. Good morning.
Good morning.
God be the glory for things He has done.
Good morning. Thank you.
How you doing, Lord?
I'm all right.
I'm calling this morning for you to send greetings to my granddaughter.
Well,
To my granddaughter,
you're doing it for yourself, so go ahead.
Bernadette, better known as Auntie K, my first granddaughter,
Okay.
coming from her grandmother, Mamselle, her aunts and uncles, her brother and sisters, and wishing her all the best and many more.
All right. Thank you.
You have a blessed day, Lord.
You too, my dear. All right, Papa. Amen. Real 91.9, 91.5. Inspector Charles, good morning to you, bro. How you doing? Just that everything is fine with you. Kendra, you off to work. Pearline, what's up? Look. Pearline, I haven't heard from you in ages. I don't know if you just disappeared from the map. I can't understand that. Alexander inside of Polio. How's Young Song? I hear from you more than I hear from Young Song. Mikey Charles, please. Andre, careful. You said some bad things about Mikey. I come and get in. Good morning, Mikey. We're on out there in Stone Road. How you doing? Drums, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
How you doing, my dear?
I'm good.
All right, let's hear you.
Good morning to you. Good morning to the nation.
Mm-hmm.
Reading from the word of God, Genesis chapter 19, verses 4. Before the later on, the men of the city, even the men of Saram compassed the house around about old and young, all the people from every quarter. And they called unto Lot and said unto him, where are the men which come in to thee this night? Bring them out, that we may know them. And Lot went out and door unto them and shouted the door after him, and said, I pray you, brethren, do not be so wicked. This is the end of the scripture.
Thank you, my dear. And what's up?
I'm there.
Everything great?
What time?
That's lovely to
What
hear.
time is very sunny this morning.
Yeah. All right. How the dogs? The dogs. You see, I'm asking about the dogs. I ain't asking about other people. Other people are the dogs are asking about. How the dogs behaving? They good?
Yeah, they,
Right. The dogs in the yard outside. Nice puppies, nice puppies.
this dogs is wild now, man. Wild, doing bad, man.
They're behaving bad?
Yeah.
Careful, they might put you in trouble, you know. They might just put you in trouble.
Oh, gosh.
All right. But take care of yourself.
You put one nice day.
Okay, bye-bye now. Good.
Nothing she doing, but a pray waiting to swoop down on you.
There's no telling, absolutely no telling what these birds of prey will do.
You gotta be careful.
So you just gotta be careful with whatever you do today, whatever you do always, my friends. It's important that you be careful in your life. It's your life here. At the end of the day, it doesn't belong to me. It doesn't belong to anybody else. It's your life. So you have to be careful what you do with your life. I mind most of the time, all of the time, don't tell people I told you that, all right? Good. But most of the time, I mind what I do with my life. Of course. You got to. If you don't, then what are you living for? Let me say good morning to all the folks inside. Rosehill, how you doing this morning? Chad, I haven't shouted you out for a while. I do apologize for that, my brother. I've had some chicken in a while too. I know something like something wrong. Chad. We have to do something, change that. Yeah. In case you're wondering who is Chad, well, Chad is the best. Yeah, he's got the best fried chicken right here in St. Patrick, as far as I know. There may be others who are good, but I'm talking as far as I know. Chad has got the best fried chicken in St. Patrick's right there inside of that junction, Silcotton Junction. Let's stop calling it Rosehill Junction. It's Silcotton or Monfendu Junction, because Rosehill is nowhere near that place. Rosehill is further on the inside. As a matter of fact, Rosehill is closer to where the Seventh-day Adventist church is in inside of that village. So Rosehill is not on the main road. And I think I said we must start the correct thing. Yeah, Rosehill is definitely not on the main road. That can be considered as Monfendu Junction, yes, or as they used to call it back in the day before you were born, Chad, they used to be calling that Silcotton Junction. Yeah, there's a massive Silcotton tree there. You see how fellas hanging out there and everybody lying there? Oh, give me a break. Back in the day, they ain't doing that. They ain't hanging out in that spot. Every man they were afraid to even pass there after 6 o'clock. You better believe that. This is real. This is 94.9 FM. You got the weather coming up for you in the chat. Stay with us. Much more on this radio for this Tuesday morning.
Ozone really gets it clean. Get with the Ozone family line of products. Ozone liquid laundry detergent, perfect for your semi or fully automatic washing machines. Yet suitable for your hand, soft on your hands. Ozone disinfecting cleaner. It's the most powerful disinfectant and cleaner with a long-lasting fresh scent. Because every drop around the house or office. Ozone detergent powder and ultra soft fabric softener gets your clothes clean with a natural fragrance. Keeps your colors bright. Choose from the wonderful scents, soft flower, ocean breeze, and the new aloe vera. Keep your kitchen sparkling clean with Ozone dishwashing liquid, Ozone sponges, and cleaning cloth. Ozone toilet bowl cleaner removes light scale and kills germs while keeping your toilet with refreshing scent. Ozone really gets it clean. Marketed and distributed by Calico, Frequente St. George's, and are available at shops and supermarkets nationwide.
Who wants to save 30%? Everybody. Now more than ever, Flow understands the need to make your dollar stretch. Our new bundles can help you save 30% off your current bill. Plus, get a free speed upgrade on your in-home internet. Simply add your mobile to your current home services account and save 30%. It's easy. Sign up now and save. All on the most reliable fixed and mobile network on island. Visit the Flow store or call us at 1-800-804-2994 for more information. Flow, it only gets better. Terms and conditions apply.
The Granville Cooperative Credit Union Limited wishes to inform the general public of the following change in Saturday operating hours at our St. George branch. The office, located at the Derek Sylvester Building on the street, will now be opened from 9 a.m. to 12 noon on Saturdays. The extension is in an effort to meet the needs of our members. Please be reminded that our operating hours are as follows: Mondays to Thursdays, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Fridays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. On Saturdays in Granville, from 8 a.m. to 12 noon. St. George, 9 a.m. to 12 noon. Granville Cooperative Credit Union, the best place to save and borrow.
Green's Concept introduces the latest innovation in air conditioning technology in Grenada, providing the most energy efficient, environmentally friendly air conditioning units in Grenada. Using a natural refrigerant, our air conditioning unit systems are up to 40% more energy efficient than the current units used in the Grenadian market. Powerful cooling while using less electricity and very inexpensive. That means more money in your pocket. We offer free delivery to all locations and installation and installed by top quality trained professional engineers with over 20 years experience in the business. Contact Green's Concept 417-5460 or 442-1663. Email greensconcept@gmail.com. At Green's Concept, we cool you and the planet.
Greens Concepts announces special prices on 18,000 and 24,000 BTU units. You have been saving on power, now save on prices. Call us today.
When you walk, what you say? When you talk, what you say? When you talk,
It's a hungry world out there. With everybody scrambling to get a ship. Wolves in clothing, wolves of prey waiting to swoop down on you. And there's no telling what to do. You gotta be, you gotta be careful. Where you go, when you walk it, what you say, when you talk it. You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful, careful. I say we have to prepare to meet the challenges of life without fear. Greed and jealousy, hatred and envy, and you have to move with care in that jungle out there. You got to be careful. You got to be careful. How you move when you move it, which direction you going. You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful, careful.
when you go, when you walk, what you say? When you talk, when you go, when you walk, what you say? When you talk,
In your search for happiness, you gotta leave a little room for loneliness. More things will happen all of a sudden before you realize it's only a time. You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful with what you do and how you doing it. If you do, when you're doing it, you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful, careful.
It's real. It's 91.9 FM on your dial. Yeah, that's how it is. I keep telling you, folks who want to see us so much inside of the studio. It happens like that, that you get breaks like that where we take commercials for a longer period than we're supposed to. And we have to listen to the theme song for a a little bit longer. As a matter of fact, speaking of, oh, caller, I'm going to come to you in a minute. Stay right there. Speaking of theme song, today is a kind of a red letter day because you see, when you, I don't know if you've ever been told by other entities, but going live via Facebook, via YouTube, and many of the other platforms, it can be done snap, but then you can lose more than you gain in relation to going live. Now let me explain to you what happens there. You have to be very, very careful to the music that you use, and you have to put up a lot of disclaimers in terms of letting people know that you are not benefiting from in any way from the copywriting of people's music, and that you're merely using it for entertainment purposes. This is something that has to go up. And we have not done that yet. So when you hear tracks like this, gotta be careful. And if I let it play for too very long, here's what takes place. I can get shut down by YouTube. I can get shut down by Facebook. Yeah. How do they monitor? Don't ask me. I didn't. I'm not an Napster. I'm not. If you didn't do that, they could no. But they monitor. They shut you down because they figure that you're infringing on the rights of these people's music. Now, today, we I'm going to be looking at the possibility of changing the theme song. So the theme song that you're accustomed to hearing that has become synonymous over the years, why we would have gotten away with it on radio, we would not get away with it on YouTube or Facebook. So the theme song that you've been hearing for years, we'd have to change that, or else we can get flagged and get into problems. So there are a lot of other things that will change, and it has with you wanting to see me live. Now, the final thing I want to touch on this morning, I came in, I know a boy is really try, eh? You understand? Boy is really try. I'm not Paul School that have a million suit and thing and shirt and ties and thing. Yeah, no. I come in this morning and first message I see on this thing, oh, your tie didn't match your shirt yesterday. So, Andrew really kind of pompous that thing. So I say, well, and the person who sent the message, no, I won't call the name. The person who sent the message does not live in Grenada. So my message was, my message to the person was simply this. Well, you know it is. I could be rude. Yes, I didn't really want to be. But I got a brother here with me this morning, and we could be talking, because on Tuesdays, and you may hear him on a number of Tuesdays coming up. Maybe not next week, but definitely the week after. Maybe every 2 weeks, whatever. We're gonna work this out, and you will be hearing from him important things that you need to understand. You may not hear it for an entire 2 hours or hour and a half in the morning, but you may hear from him. He's probably driving down to work or whatever, and he decides, okay, fine, let me link for 20 minutes, half an hour, give some pertinent information, and then we move on. Hey, got a call online. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, I'm all right.
Good morning to listeners of Real FM. It's a fair morning here at the airport. Winds are from the east at 16 miles per hour. Barometric pressure 1015.6 millibars, which is above the mean and it's rising. Present temperature 24.9 degrees Celsius. Relative humidity 76%. Yesterday's maximum temperature was 30 degrees Celsius, and the minimum temperature last night was 23.7 degrees Celsius. Over the past 24 hours, only a trace of rainfall was recorded here at DMJ. This total for the month remains at 25.2 millimeters. Now the public forecast valid for today and tonight for Virginia, Carriacou, and Martinique. The weather is expected to be generally fair with an increase in cloudiness tonight with light to moderate showers. Winds east northeasterly to easterly at 12 to 22 miles per hour. Today's maximum temperature is expected to get up to 30.5 degrees Celsius. Seas moderate, waves 5 to 7 feet in open water. Tides are currently low and will be high around 1 p.m. Sunset is evening 6:18. Sunrise tomorrow morning at 6:19. So just to recap, the weather is expected to be generally fair with an increase in cloudiness tonight
Would like to morning showers. From the Met Office, Trisha Miller.
I know I did the injustice this morning, but let me tell you what happened. My
Uh-huh.
my air conditioner just went boom.
Oh, okay.
The air conditioner just went boom, and then a guy stepped in. I wouldn't tell you who the guy, but I'll tell you. I'll give you a clue as to who the guy is. The guy was sick. Do you understand?
Yes. Yes,
Right.
yes.
So you may know who the guy is now.
Okay.
Right. But you know something? I promise you a treat, and I'll double treat.
Okay. I look forward to it.
Take care, sir, Robert. All right.
All right.
Okay, just great. It's real. It's 91.9, 91.5, www.realfmreader.com. In studio with me this morning, friend. Yeah, we gonna just hop to it. Robert White. Robert, good morning to you. And how are you this morning?
I am great.
Yeah,
I am great. I whenever I come to Real FM, I am good.
you're good.
When I come when I'm good and I get better.
Oh, really?
Yes, oh yes.
Well,
Real FM does that to you. As a matter of
I
fact,
wonder if the person who say I wasn't thing yesterday go say you think I ain't know. Let me bring you up closer and personal so they go see you. Okay, there's Robert. Yeah, there's Robert. Up close and personal.
I tell you this, and I stepped into the studio this morning. I said, "Why? Because he has an insurance this morning. Why not me?"
Excuse me. Nah, but if you're doing the thing, you have to do the thing.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't do it halfway.
Yeah, that's right. That's
You know, you can't do it halfway. And I believe one of the concerns I have in Grenada presently, Robert, for the lady, people like Brenda Batiste, Aruna Neptune, I can speak to them, Odette to an extent. I already like Odette. So but I can see that. I mean, I ain't had to do something, go and hide and do that. No, I already like it. So I don't really pay attention to her. But give kudos. When you talk about these ladies on television, did I call Aruna?
Yeah.
Right. When you see them on any live, they are Shona Wells. They are up there. Blossom Alexis. They're up there. They dress the part. Men in Grenada, outside of people like who? Ken Batiste.
And Lou Smith and
Well, you don't really see who anymore on television. But outside of these, Joseph Cado tries. And I can just say these things because everybody don't like me anyway, so there ain't gonna be nothing worse. Joseph Cado tries. Outside of these people, really, our men are not stepping up. And it is still the trousers below the bam bam kind of thing.
well,
Do you understand? And we need to step up.
in my opinion,
Mhm.
I of course men must take responsibility for how they dress and their understanding of the importance of the attire. All right. See, the visual impact and how it corresponds to what you're doing. Yes. So for example, I will not show up in an insurance interview with a pants that's on my bottom with a jeans or so, unless I am going to the field, and I'm not disinformative, but there are times when we relate, right? That's a good friend of mine. Well, that's just a good friend of mine. One of the old guys in the insurance industry who was an aggressive salesman. That just piqued my mind. I thought I would share it. He went to the field one time.
Mm-hmm.
He was not tired for the field, but he decided, he spoke with the farmer and he was speaking for him for quite a while, and the farmer keep putting him off. And on that, the farmer told him, "Yeah, come, we'll do business." So the guy showed up at the farmer's home, and the wife said, "Well, so and so, look, my husband, after he finished speaking with you, he just picked up his boots and his cutlass and he said, 'You're in the land.' But I know I heard him tell you to come. So he's in the land. Let's go look for it."
Exactly.
So the insurance guy went down to the land And there was a guy on top of nutmeg tree, rolling nutmegs, right? So the insurance agent called up, hey, Mr. So-and-so, we'll have, yeah, you know. And the farmer up in nutmeg tree said, well, you see where it is? Oh, no problem, man, I'm coming up. Tired shoes and socks up the road. You know,
Up the road.
but the point I was about to make, however, until I get sidetracked with this little joke that flashed in my mind, I think the institutions need to take responsibility for setting a dress code for the staff.
Yeah, they really need.
If you leave it up to persons, they may have different interpretation as to what goes on and what you know what they should do for adequate dress. But if you the institution said no, this is how our employees are to represent our company. So, for example, the company I work for, you can wear a t-shirt, a branded t-shirt,
Branded by the company.
by the company. And there are days you can't even wear that. The most special days when you wear your branded t-shirts, right? There are some occasions you just cannot show up. Even in your branded t-shirt, you will not be. So,
You know,
the company just set the tone.
I just say the company is setting the tone here. It hurts when I hear that statement. It hurts because we are a small company, Real FM. And not everything is well. The only thing easy to come by is words from me, or words from our broadcasters. Not even the news is easy to come by sometimes, based on what you want to get. And we invested. The station invested in uniforms, well, material for uniforms. And what do I think about it? I get very emotional. The person that we gave the uniforms, the material to do the uniform, didn't come through.
No, they died.
No, it would have been better if they died. Trust me.
So when is it that didn't come true?
The material spoiled.
Spoiled?
Mm-hmm. They did not do a good job. It's things that the workers would have to take to individual.
But it did not do a good job.
Didn't do a good job.
So okay, so you got your stuff, but it was not a proper job.
Well, and not even all the stuff. Some of the stuff was spoiled beyond repair. The individual who did the job promised to deliver the material right over again to us, back to us, buy the material and deliver it to us. And that's been months. That decision was taken interesting right in here with a police officer present. That has been months.
Okay.
And the person is has not even bothered to make a phone call, not even bothered to come and say, hey, well, I'm having a challenge in terms of getting that particular type of material, whatever. Never said anything. And I have decided, and this is the first time I say this, I've decided that we will work again and we will purchase material again. But it's a tough one to say, Robert. And I probably don't have the best words and I'm probably angry. So I'm going to use the words that I'm using, but nobody, way tailor or seamstress would be given my material to spoil it again.
I could understand.
Yeah.
It's a once bitten, twice shy, and it is part of the reality of some of our, let me say, small business persons, is that they don't see themselves as business persons.
Yeah.
They think the small excuses them from a number of what it should be normal business dealings. Before you handle yourself, your commitment to persons and all that. So because I'm small, I don't have to do it on time. Because I'm small, I don't have to make sure I give you the best cut. Because I'm small, you give me a break. Because I'm small, and all the other things come after you because I'm small. Except because I'm small, I will do the best I can to ensure that I satisfy my customers every time to get bigger.
And would you believe that uh, more than half of the money required for doing the job was paid?
Yeah, well,
It gets me angry every time I think about it. It gets me really, really angry. And I have to control myself. At one point in time, I was thinking about picking up the material, put in my vehicle, drive to the person's place, and leave it there for them. All sort of things have gone through my mind. And then I'm like, you know what? Just forget about it. Move on. You will get an opportunity to raise, the kind of funds. Because I didn't buy the material here.
mm,
I brought it overseas, brought it in, so paid shipping and handling would have paid duties on it, brought it into the country. And it's just a mess. And I mean, I am angry, very angry about it, very, very angry about it. But hey, what's done is done, and let's move on. Speaking of this, let's move on. Good morning to you, White. How are you doing this morning? Nice to have you here, bro.
yeah, it's always a pleasure to visit Real FM. I sometimes figure I don't make enough use of what's right in my backyard. All right, but of course,
Say that again. Say it until you start to believe it.
that again, that again,
Right.
that
No, you believe it.
I believe it.
I know you believe it. Oh my God.
Yeah, so I feel good. I didn't get a chance to say good morning to your listeners as yet, and in now because new trend, your viewers as well.
Of course.
Listeners and viewers. Andrew, that's a real plus. I want to applaud you on this move. I know you have your eyes set on even bigger things. I don't know if I should see it here,
You could.
right? Eventually, we would see television, right? But who know the finances that are involved? It could be a tall stretch, and so you do things incrementally. I think that is a good step along the way in getting viewers accustomed to seeing the radio and getting an appreciation for the radio, the visual impact of the radio. And over time, we expect that this could transcend into the TV aspect. And I want to say, keep going, bro. Keep going.
Well, the thing is, I promised folks I was going to be able to go live by the 7th of February.
Uh,
And we had a bit of hiccups and it couldn't happen. We still having some hiccups because you were not supposed to be here this morning if we didn't have that hiccup. You could have stayed home and dressed in your armless in your vest and your jockey shorts, and we could have done that interview right there in your home, and you would have been able to. I would have been able to pull you up on the television and do the live with you.
okay.
However, we have an issue. Hopefully, the carpenter will be here today.
The carpenter is it?
Yeah, the carpenter.
I thought it was like technical issue.
Now, Jay has been so how should I put it? So non-committal these days. He has been downgraded to a carpenter. He's been downgraded to a carpenter.
I hope Jay is not listening.
Well, he knows. Listen, if I say the carpenter is coming today, Nabi will ask me what time.
Oh, she knows it.
She knows. It's not that, and she will call him a carpenter when he gets here.
Yeah.
And he gives a little sly kind of look like, oh my God, they're really doing this. Yes, he's a carpenter. He's been downgraded. It's not he can't do the work, but it's just he's so non-committal these days. That's his problem. He's a carpenter. So the good morning. Can you say good morning, Robert, to Cap? You know Cap?
Cap in Victoria?
No. Cap from Liver.
Oh, Cap.
Yeah. He's listening. He always listens.
Cap.
Yeah. He always listens.
Hey, Cap.
Yeah.
Good morning. How you doing, buddy?
As a matter of fact, I think it was the first morning that we went live. So Cap was viewing and viewed all the way to work and got to work and viewing still and goes, Andre, don't make me lose New York. He is a serious trooper. Oh,
Let me just come back and sing Cap. So.
but he should. Yolan Smith says good morning. So too does J1. Hold on, this is what y'all listening. This is a dog show.
Hey Jay, morning. How you good morning as well.
Right. So these are the people that pop up and they see these notifications and you can respond. It's really nice. Have to start getting accustomed to the fact that the camera is right in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the camera right there, and yours is right there. See it? Right. You can wave. Morning to you. Right. It's right in front. But check this out. Because the camera is in front of you, you have to be so very careful because sometimes you hear alone and your nose tickles you and you stick your fingers out. Oops! You have to know not to do that. Do you understand? There's so many things that you have to know not to do. But I've mastered the art now. I've mastered one thing. No, I can do it. I can still do it. You know why I can do it? Because I've figured out how to have you alone on screen. If you look right now, you'd see you alone on screen. Okay. See? I'm not there. But if I want to put both of us on the screen, I do this and we're both there. Hi Robert, how you doing? So I can sit here and I can chat with you. But I can put you alone on screen and dig my nose as much as I want to.
Just remember to put me alone on screen when you do that.
This is great. Anyway, that when you're able to do this, like to put you there and I do what I do, I would like I would use you as my insurance. Oh, you're my insurance in that case. And I know you're here to talk insurance.
That was a cat introduction.
Yeah, well, of course. Do you expect less?
No, not really.
Do you? Oh, come on. You can't expect less, I saw the opportunity. I'm like, oh,
yeah. And
I grabbed it. Yes. So you're my insurance this morning in relation to that. Bobby, you've been in insurance now for how many years?
This year makes me 31 years as an insurance advisor.
30?
31. It started in 1990, 1st of October 1990 in my company. So it makes me 31 years. I pretty much grew up. And you sometimes ask yourself, well, where did the time go? Because it doesn't feel that long. But it's 3 decades plus one.
This year will be 31.
This 1st of October this year makes me 31 years.
It's interesting. And things happen and you don't know they happen. And when they happen, you feel, when you realize that certain things just clash. When was it? 20? Was it 2020 or 2019? 2019. I would have crossed the threshold, like gotten to the plateau of celebrating 30 years being in
radio. Yeah.
Brent is what, 29?
9? No, boy.
How old is Brent?
Taking 23 this year.
23, sorry. I was wrong, yeah. 23, yeah. Anyway, so much for that because it's so very close.
It is.
It's so very close. And which did you do first, Robert? Did you do quotes first or insurance first?
I did insurance first.
Uh-huh. And then you did.
And I did courts. The insurance and heritage started the same year.
Okay.
So I'm also celebrating 31 years with heritage.
With heritage.
I'm as close to a founding member as anybody else can get, although I'm not a founding member. Yeah. Meaning that I was one of the first persons who were members who were who got into the company,
yeah,
right? Who accepted. after the first run of the theater show in town, and that is Panama Blood. So the very first time Heritage Theatre went out of St. George with a production, they came to St. Patrick. I was in cast then. It was the Caribbean cinema. Oh my goodness, that place is in ruins now. Every time I think about it, it pains my heart, knowing what an icon that was in that institution. I don't know the team.
Somebody in St. David called it, I understand. And every time I think
Well, why don't they do something?
every time I think about it, and I think about the fact that somebody from outside of the parish bought this, and I have no problems with people owning things. I don't, wherever you're from and you own it, that's all right by me. But one of the things that I really believe that you should do is to respect and understand that when you buy something, you do something with it because it has very, very touching memories for many people like yourself now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and when I look at it, the walls, the structure is pretty good on the outside. The outside walls are not bad. It's just that the interior and the roof is in a mess.
Well, I haven't been there in ages, so
Yeah, the walls are not bad. The walls can be done. But the interior, of course, they would have to rip it out, and the roof you would have to change the roof and maybe some modifications to the stage or whatever. Do a couple of things, but for God's sake, do something. As a matter of fact, that's any one of the politicians coming to get my vote this election or next election this way. You have to tell me what you plan to do. Because you have to plan, as far as I'm concerned, you need to plan to, how do you say it, acquire?
yes,
Yeah, you have to plan to acquire. That's the bottom line. Plan to acquire or don't come and ask me for my vote.
All right, so let's
Yeah, let's come back to where it's supposed to be. I can get kind of festy in situations like these. I can get rather festy.
And I realize we have touched on about 3 different points that got you very emotional.
Yeah. So let's stay with the insurance, which will of course legally very emotional still. You got involved in insurance and you've stayed with one company for 31
I
years.
stayed with one company for 30. Well,
Amazing.
No, I represent 2 companies.
Sure.
Yeah. And because this is impromptu, if you notice, I guess people may want, well, which are the 2 companies? It's quite obvious that there's a question that is in people's mind now, and they're hoping that I'm answering it. But because this is impromptu,
and you have to be very careful of how you mention companies' names because they may not like the fact that you are here. You can talk about insurance. You're on your time, you're on your own. You can talk it. But if you mention their name and I have an issue with that name, I may bring it up and that may not be the best thing. So I will say to you, don't mention names.
No, and that's why I would, because I must say that I did not get their permission. And it's something that, business these days, companies are very, very, they guard fiercely their brand.
Mm-hmm. No one respects that.
And of course, and you need to have permission, for anything like that. So I am not going to mention any company's name except to say that I represent 2 companies.
2.
I'm legally licensed by the GAFIN, right? Grenada Association for the Grenada Authority, for the regulation of financial institutions. I am legally what's my third name?
Certified. No, I'll find them as we go along. No.
I GAFIN represent the 2 companies that I do. All right, but I've been in the insurance industry. And interestingly, I was with Company 1, but I am with Company 1 for 31 years this year. And I started with Company 2 just about 2 years thereafter.
2 years, so that's like 29 years this year. If I can still count. Somebody said good morning. Oh, Claire says good morning, class. Didn't know that you guys are related.
Hey, family!
Look at it. Here we go again now, yeah? Jay Wanda said, I know. Well, I told you that already.
I did answer him.
Yeah, you did answer him.
And Yolanda.
Yeah, Yolanda is on. I don't know if she's viewing. She probably can't stand the thing that she can look at my handsome face like this. So she's probably not viewing on thingy. So she probably listens to the utterly commanding voice. I can do stuff like that, yeah. I'm licensed to do that. I'm certified.
Yes,
That's the word. That's the word. I'm certified to do that. But what is an insurance?
Well, an insurance agreement is essentially a contract between two parties. One party being the insurance company, and the other party being that person slash institution, because it can be an institution as well, that excuse me, that in the event of a loss, the company will be there to indemnify you. Now, a loss as in financial loss, right? The company is going to be there to indemnify you. Indemnify has to put you back in a position as close as possible to what you would have been prior to the loss. That is the simple answer for insurance. Now, of course, you have very complex arrangements for things that approaches and things that are insured. But and of course we put that this morning. But in a nutshell, this is what an insurance contract is. A contract, I'm going to repeat, between two parties, with one party being the insurance company, the other party being a person or institution that in the event of a financial loss, all right, suffered by the other party, not the insurance company, obviously, then the insurance company will be there to put you back in a position that you would have been prior to the loss. So they will finance you. Now, of course, they're taking a risk. So and that's what these insurance companies in the business of taking a risk. But they take it for a price. So put it this way. If you buy a car, Andrew, and that car is yours, you may owe the bank, or let's go to the bank or that. You buy a car, you buy $20,000 plus your money that you had saved in the bank. You decide that you want to buy a car. Now there are risks involved with ownership of a car. One of those risks are that you can be going on the road and somebody called you and they just turn their head to say, hey, sometimes we do, but sometimes we do. And before you know it, the car came up faster than you expected. And there you went to your car crashed.
You did too.
Well, let's for the purpose of keeping this lighter, let's say it's survive.
Okay. Okay.
Now, but you do not now have a car because it's crashed. It might be repairable. So if you want to repair it, then you have to find money. Not only now do you not have $20,000 your car to go and repair, but to get it back to a position that you have been prior to the loss will cost you. So that is really your risk of car ownership. But the insurance company say, hey bro, we can help you out. Right? Here's what if something happens to you, we'll be there to help shoulder the responsibility. You know how to take that risk yourself. Give us a couple of dollars. Right? Which is way below what it will take to get you back in that position, because insurance companies the big numbers and the incidence of persons who are exposed to those risks. Now we have maybe 60, 70,000, 80,000 cars in Grenada. Could possibly be as much persons who would be, or there's some 3, 4, so let's just say it's between 40,000 80,000 cars. Right? Now this is 40,000 persons you can engage in. Not all cars will be passed the same way. Not some persons will be passed at all because they do drive well. And so insurance companies give them there's some government discount because you guys will have not presented a credit company for the year. Next year it goes down, you get a discount on the premium because you are a good driver. Now,
you said something which is very interesting.
Before you come in here, so the transfer of a risk from you to the insurance company, and a more complex answer, this is one of the insurance. It is a transfer of risk from the insured person to the insurance company. That in the event of X again, they will pay Y. So the company says, okay, Andrea, in the same example you're using a while ago, your car is scratched, you are comprehensively insured. And it will cost you $5,000 to get together again, get it in a position that it was prior to the loss, as close as possible. It's going to $5,000. Okay, now sometimes doesn't make sense. All right, but let's leave all this complication of the power. Company gives you $5,000, you fix your car, you're back on the road again. Andrew is happy and smiling because now support from the insurance company. Now one may ask, well, The insurance company did not charge you $5,000. So how come they paid you $5,000? And that's the magic of the laws of average. They, coming to the point I made earlier on, because they have many persons insured, and they take a premium from many persons, knowing that many persons have the exposure to the risk of loss, sorry. But not every one of those many persons will have the loss at the same time. So somewhere between the exposure, all the persons who have the risk of loss and the actual incidences of loss, somewhere be oops, sorry. No,
They'll see that you hit
yeah,
the mic.
before they would have wondered what happened.
What happened?
No,
They'll
they
see.
know. So somewhere between there, between the risk and the incidence of loss, or the exposure, sorry, or the incidence of loss, is business. That's the insurance. Because they do make money. And the truth is, insurance companies must make money because the premiums that they charge you are not adequate enough to cover. So they must make enough money to be able to take care of everybody and take care of the administrative costs and all of that and make a profit. Because I always say to people, insurance companies are businesses. You get into business because you want to make profit. And put it this way, if an insurance company is not making profit, then very soon they'll get out of business because your profit helps to keep you in business.
Let me ask you this, Robert. Or make this statement. You spoke about driving well, and therefore you are rewarded by the insurance company with no claim discount. Is that totally correct? Or is it better to say not claiming? Because I may not be driving well. I may have an accident, but I may be able to fix you out of pocket and not claim from my insurance so I could fix you and fix me out of pocket and I go along. But the records will show for the year that I did not have an accident because I did not claim on the company. And therefore, at the end of the year or the beginning of the next insurable year, I do qualify for no claim discount.
Yes, and the truth is, any accident should be reported, whether it results in a claim or not. One, so that the insurance company would have a reasonable idea, not just reasonable, a practical idea of the risks presented to them by the insurers, by the insured. Sorry. Because yes, in the example you gave, because the guy decided, you know what, let's start this thing with the company, and there was no claim. So the assumption is, based on the company's records, is that this man did not have an accident for the year. But if you do not advise the insurance company, then they will not be able to properly look at what the premiums for that particular person should be because of the incidence of accidents, right? Because the incidence of accidents is what would lead to claims. Oh, and you may just be having very little accidents, like a Russia, that you actually been fixing yourself because you're not big money. But if you're having very regular like a rush, then you are a risk. You are a greater risk.
But if I'm not reporting,
No, let me finish. You are a greater risk to the company because it means that you're probably careless. It means that you probably have an eyesight problem. It means that you probably have a mental issue, right? So you are a great risk to the company. The ones you have in those accidents, the little ones, the big ones is behind the corner. Just around the corner.
you see, my reason
So let me still finish. So in the ideal world, the insurance company wants you to report every accident, whether it resulted in a claim or not. But not everybody do, and sometimes we have to go on the side of the way. You get a smart, you'll be amazed what companies know. When people sometimes see that they have accident report and everything like that, you'll be amazed what companies know. They know. They do know. They get the blotter, right? And ask them, ask the commission, They do know it's not a place.
Yeah, but the people who don't even bother to
Well, if the police not
call the
involved,
police,
police
the
not
police
involved.
not involved. Yeah, don't worry, I'm gonna fix that. That's it. And then move on. The person gets a car fixed, and that's it. Although police will tell you that it is not advisable that you do not call the police. You should call the police at all times when there's an accident.
You should. I tell you, the insurance company gives you same advice.
Hmm.
In the event of an accident, call the police.
There was an
Even,
accident.
even if it's an accident where you run off the road. Because you see, that running off the road may have resulted in a damage to you that deteriorated that was over time. Yes? So you may feel that it's not like a knock in the hand, it's not like a pain. But that pain in the elbow here could eventually deteriorate to something worse, right? If it wasn't initially, how do you now go to the company? Because there are claims for damages. So how do you eventually go to the company 2 years after, 3 years after, 6 months afterwards, and they are claiming you probably legitimately would have been entitled to some kind of relief?
Let me go to this one. There was an accident yesterday, and the police was called in. It happened somewhere in the Grand Attack area, and the police was called in. The person, well, put it this way: person B, we'll call him A and B. Person B did not share his details with person A, while person A was willing to share details, and person A had to get person's B details from the police, which he eventually got. When you look at the pictures that was taken, the interesting thing, you know, all the hills where they put those lines in the road.
Yes, after Bush Road, where you do this.
Right, where in that S corner area there.
I actually saw it yesterday. I didn't see the accident, but I saw all those markings on the glass.
Those markings. So person A was stopped totally within
The markings.
the market. So he was the marking. There's a clear space between himself and the marking and the side of the road. So he was stopped, and the picture where the person B would have stopped, you could see that person B would have come from A's side of the road and trying to get back to his side of the road. The accident occurred. You know, what happens in a case like this, Robert, in relation to insurance? What happens here? Because person B is driving a company vehicle. What happens here?
Well,
Take me through the frustration.
Well, every accident needs to be reported.
Mm-hmm.
So whether your company, whether you're person A or person B, you have an obligation to report to your insurer, hey, there's an accident.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there are times when on the scene, things are kind of clear cut, and one person may say, I realize I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I'd like to accept liability. Although, again, the company advice that you really should not accept liability. Not that they don't want to pay. Sometimes people get the impression that, insurance companies say don't accept liability because they don't want to pay. It's not that. When you accept liability, you bind the insurance company, right? You compromise your position to sometimes deny claim, because what seems clear-cut to you may not necessarily be a clear-cut issue. Insurance companies are settling claims every day. That's what they do. So they know. There are times they know that when they look at this particular situation, this could have been avoided, that could have been avoided, that might be wrong. I'm not saying that the driver is absolutely wrong, right? But there are times the companies realize this is not as it appears. But when you accept liability on the scene of the accident, you compromise their ability to come back and say, well, no, we want to contest this. Yes? But every driver in this situation should report the accident to the company, meaning the insurance company. In the case of the company's vehicle, sometimes people feel the company vehicle are driving, I could drive on. Well, the company has an insurance. And if you driving how you want anyhow on the figure, just because this company vehicle could do what you want on the road, then you are a risk to the company because you might be having more than average number of accidents. And the insurance company could eventually say, and when I say the risk company, risk to your employer. And the insurance company could eventually say to your employer, listen, we can't cover you for X dollars again. We have to cover you for X plus, maybe X plus plus plus, because your drivers are presenting more than average claims. So so you're presenting with your attitude, you're presenting a greater risk, or you're causing a greater expense to your company that you employed with for purchasing insurance on the vehicles. Right?
It's not right. You said right, and it's just not right because you see what happens, and this is like a common tale. Um, A travels, comes into an accident with B, who's representing a company or driving for a company. Um, so police come and take all the information, and then it is in the company's interest to go to court because they have 4 or 5 other vehicles, so they can put another vehicle on that route, and the next morning you don't have 5 vehicles. You have to be walking the next morning, and the longer it stays in court, and you get frustrated, and you end up fixing your vehicle for yourself, and then you forget about the accident ever took place, and then the company or the insurance company that is at that particular time, the insurance company is happy because you did not fight the case because you got frustrated, and the company is happy that they did not have to do so and be slapped with a claim. And most of the times in these situations, but right, most of the times in these situations, the company and the insurance, they win over the person.
Well, and they shouldn't. Now, what I would say in such a scenario is that you pursue until you get justice. Now, sometimes people drag their foot. I know of incidents where, and a name comes to mind here in terms of a client who aggressively follows up to ensure that he gets justice. And aggressively doesn't necessarily mean that he goes with a cutlass, as some people figure, walk with a cutlass and go by the insurance company. No, that's not what he does. But he agitates, meaning that he, one, get information. From the very scene of the accident, capture information. The police have said to you, the details that we are taking here, you have an opportunity to keep it. If not, you have to apply to the commissioner of police. From there, start to take information. You want information as to the police information, all the measurements that they take. You want information on the driver of the vehicle, his name, telephone number, his insurance company. You want to start to build your file because you do not know how far this thing will go, right? Now, when it's companies, yes, sometimes, the point you made, companies have 3-4 vehicles, so it is not a major issue to them sometimes. So for them to, pursue this thing, aggressively.
Rigidly. It's not in their interest.
They take their time, and sometimes it doesn't mean they drag their foot in it. They just take their time because there's so much other things happening. With this single man, with
I'd allow you that one.
One little vehicle. No, but that's the reality of life. Not, for example,
I don't agree.
Companies do not have, I don't know any company in Grenada, maybe I don't know everybody, that have a specific insurance department that, anything with accidents and so go to that particular department. They have a staff who deals with that singularly. They're part of every other thing that they do. Maybe they should. If your company is big enough, maybe you should. But the point is, most companies do not have that. So you, as the person who with your one little vehicle and so, and you now you're walking, yes, you're disadvantaged for that moment. But there are areas that you can claim. You can claim loss of use. You can do a number of things. But you need to stay on your case. And staying on your case means that you need to call, you need to agitate, don't get despondent, wait for the long haul. Sometimes the long arm of the law spins slowly. Even when matters go to court, sometimes it takes a long time. The magistrate falls sick, or the lawyer couldn't make it this time, because you have a court in the High Court, and they give preference to that over, the other matters. And all that things happen, but still with it.
What?
Because I tell you, I know a friend, and I'm itching to call his name, but I can't.
You can't.
Right? He doesn't. He has a fleet of vehicles, right? And in recent time, he had a slew of accidents. Not him bouncing. It was just probably a bad phase. Every other 2 days, somebody bouncing on a vehicle.
Yeah.
Including a company. And one it's an example again. It's almost like, so that's what I'm saying. But he stayed with it. He stayed with it, and he got paid every last cent, including loss of use. Right?
Here's something that just came in on the WhatsApp, Robert. 2 things actually. The guy Keith Sylvan says, "Good conversations. Why don't you come and join?" Keith Sylvan. You know the guy Keith Sylvan, right?
Am I?
The guy with the pharmacy right there.
Oh.
You know him from he lives in Bushery.
Well, that's keep on my mind.
Yeah.
Morning.
He's listening. Right.
How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, he's listening. So here's a question. Well, let me deal with the first one first, right?
Yeah.
Right, we go as they come. Oh, Keith says morning again. Leave yourself and just leave us alone, there, Keith. Well, you can't just leave 2 big guys have a good conversation. Question for Robert: does no claim discount with all insurance companies? Is it with homes as it is with vehicles?
That's a very interesting question.
That one came in a long time ago.
I'd like to applaud the person who asked that question.
That's Margaret Atlanta. You've heard the name before. That's Margaret Atlanta. Yeah. Yes. So that's Margaret Atlanta there for you.
No.
Because you're not claiming for your house.
No, you're not.
So you should have no claim discount.
Well, I tell you why it's different. Because you see, with the no claim discount, you get a reward for good driving.
Mm-hmm.
But you drive your house.
Yeah, right? But you're in your house. You have good wiring and everything. So your house ain't burnt.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
I know. But the principle of no claim discounts was specifically designed for vehicles because the incidence of claims under that portion of your portfolio is greater than the incidence of claims under the other portfolio, like the house and so. Mm-hmm. You have more vehicles bouncing because they're moving things. Right, so you have more vehicles in accidents than you have the losses on property. So it was essentially the core concept of a no claim discount was implemented to help reduce losses under that category portfolio. That doesn't stop man from bouncing, but there are people who pride the fact that they get extensive no claim discounts. Now, of course, there's a ceiling. I enjoy 60% no claim discount. That's why
I basically have to run the same thing too. And they tell me I can't get more.
No, you get to the maximum because eventually the company they have to pay you to insure it.
I remember when Mr. What was his last name? Parrot's father, Parrot? Thomas.
Yeah.
I remember when his father was working as a taxi driver down in the airport. And when he bought his white Cressida car, he was paying like about $75 for insurance.
Well, that may not necessarily be the result of no claim discount.
I don't know what it was, but it was somewhere around that. He was paying next to nothing.
It could be a number of things. It could be the type of policy.
Because they said he had not had an accident ever since he insured his first vehicle personally with that company. And he had been with them like, how they say, donkey's years? Yeah. He's been with them like donkey's years.
It could be the type of policy he had. Well, it's a long time now, but still, $75 seems to be very
minimal.
Yeah.
Here's the other question. Question for Robert. And this question is coming from a gentleman in St. George's. All I would say, he was a former bank manager. Don't know what he does these days, but good morning, sir. He's always listening to. And he said, question for Robert. What are the insurance companies doing as a group to stop roadside garages that help to cause accidents on already narrow roads? No, my people coming at you this morning. Yeah.
Well, I really wish I could have said, I could have said exactly what they're doing, but I don't know. That's the short answer. The long answer is I agree that it's something that is troubling.
Mhm.
And it should be a matter of concern, not just for the insurance companies, but for the police department as well. And there could be some collaboration between the police and insurance companies with respect to how we solve that problem.
But insurance companies can simply say, Robert, to their clients, look, if we spot your vehicle doing mechanics at the side of the road, that is going to send up your insurance and we're going to take a picture of it.
Well,
these are things you need to do things because the police will come out and say, okay, fine, no thing there. And then what you're going to find, it is going to end up being what is, Robert, a political situation. And politicians really and truly would not love to touch it. They will touch it if they're smart. In their embryonic stages, they will touch it. But as they grow older, they sort of, they don't touch these things. But in the embryonic stages, they should touch it. But I'm saying that couldn't the insurance say, okay, fine, look, this is a situation. We are tired with these claims of accidents around where people have garages and stuff. You bring your car there and we will not be able to insure you, or your insurance is going to take a hike.
Okay, put it this way.
Put it the way it is.
No, put it this way. The insurance company may have a social responsibility, and the insurance company has a financial obligation, right, to the clients. The question here is which one of these two takes precedence. Now, the insurance contract, as it stands now, I do not know of any insurance contract that prevents you from getting your vehicle repaired by the side of the road, or says that we will not pay you if your vehicle is by the side of the road. To do so, to deny a claim, the insurance company now has to go and amend the contract accordingly. And I'm coming to that. And of course, they will need now to be informed by the amount of accidents that happen because of the side of the road and all the stats to see if it's justified. Now, remember, I'm speaking the financial obligation. Of course, they have a social obligation as well to make sure that at least, people, you as much as possible try to uplift the standard of living and make sure that, those people, there's exposures to risk and so don't happen. So the two can be interlinked. But the question is, one as of now takes precedence. I'm saying that, in my opinion, I'm not just speaking with the instructions of an insurance company, but in my opinion, based on the question, I would see a collaboration between the insurance companies and the police with a view to solving that problem. But I don't see insurance companies unilaterally deciding that we are going to amend the contract to ensure that you don't get paid if something like that happens, because that will have an impact on the book of business.
Well, if all insurance companies were to take it in stride and start to deal with it, then it would not have an impact on anything.
If all police officers start arrested by the side of the road, do you know all police officers would? They all represent the law. They were given the same training, but some have a partner here, some.
You are in insurance indeed.
No,
you are.
I'm
convinced.
Just saying that we sometimes generalize and we say if all companies do this, and if all
you okay?
Not. This is the real world.
Here's one. It relates to rental vehicles. The listener says here, where folks who own several vehicles and rent them out with no fully comprehensive insurance, but will ask that their customers to sign a contract stating that if they have an accident, it's their fault and they're liable for all loss and damages. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
The person is saying it's a bit long.
No, it's not long.
It's not long.
It's not
okay.
long. And I'll tell you why it's not long.
Mm-hmm.
Because I find this to be a vexing issue. Right?
Okay.
Because it's personal. And I'll tell you why. No, not the question is vexing.
Oh, that's how
No, the question. The circumstance that the question brings up is vexing.
It's vexing, okay.
And I'll tell you why it's vexing. I'm in the rental business for quite a number of years. And I'm an insurance agent. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. I understand well the whole principle of risk, right? I understand well my moral obligation to my persons who I rent. So I try to make sure all the time that I give them a decent, reliable working vehicle, right? That I would feel comfortable driving myself. Because that's another issue. That didn't come up here, but that's another issue where some persons rent every and anything that they buy and they figure it's okay. Because there are some persons who are willing to pay, right? For anything, you could rent them a wheelbarrow. And once they figure they could afford the 50, 60, whatever they charge them, then they'll take it. I have heard of situations where, just like the person raised, where, as a matter of fact, I know a situation right now where a family member of mine had his property damaged by someone who ran off the road with a vehicle that he rented from somebody else, right? And that vehicle did not have the proper insurance to allow them to rent.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
now the question here was that you don't have proper comprehensive insurance, but comprehensive insurance by itself doesn't give you the leeway to rent a vehicle. You need to have rental comprehensive insurance. Because all my vehicles are comprehensive insurance. I'm not talking rental vehicles now. I'm my personal vehicles. But that doesn't mean I could rent somebody my personal vehicles because it is not insured for rental. That's two completely different things. Now, there must be an element of risk. Risk in terms of you operating a business. So what I do as a practice, which is completely different from how some other persons operate, because I was with a financial institution one time that granted a loan to a young person who rented a vehicle from somebody else, fell asleep on the wheel, and the owner of the vehicle said, "You have to replace my vehicle." And my heart ached, Andrew, because I felt that was injustice. Why? Because if you are operating a business, there are risks associated with the business.
Yeah.
And you cannot drop 100% of that risk on your customer. You must take risk.
Yeah.
Now, how
Yeah.
do you mitigate against the risk associated with vehicle rentals? What I do, my company says there's an excess. There's an amount that we will never cover when you have an accident. That's what an excess is. So that's your loss, the extent of your loss. That is what I pass on to my customer. Because if you did not have an accident at all, I would not have had that extent of loss. So let me just finish it.
Yeah.
So whatever the value is, the excess would depend on the value of the vehicle and all that. So if the excess is $1,000, I say to you, you are obligated for $1,000, right? In the event that the loss is in excess of that.
Okay.
So whatever damage you cause my vehicle, so you damage a bumper because you drive and you scratch it or you touch somebody else, you got to fix the bumper. But if the loss is in excess of $1,000, your maximum obligation to me is $1,000.
And then the insurance
The
takes care
insurance takes care of the rest because I have proper insurance. And that to me is a fair option because one, there's a risk associated with how you drive, and the accident could have been a result of that.
Same person with the question is saying that, hey, it is very common at the moment, meaning, what you just spoke to is very common at the moment, and they're claiming to know of 2 cases at the moment who are in that particular situation. Hence the reason why they're saying it's very common.
Bro, you know 2? I know about 200.
All right. Here is another question from the gentleman who raised the roadside garages first. And he's saying traffic laws do not permit roadside garages. Maybe you have a senior traffic person at a future date. He's probably saying that to me on the program to discuss same. Also, there is a license fee for approved garages. So it's just a statement he's making there, which brings it to think. Yes, we need to get a senior traffic person in so we can speak to this. But you see, one of the problems here, Robert, is that it is very difficult to speak to some officers because they're so rigid in their explanation of the law. It is so rigid. And I mean, I know that the law can be very rigid, but when you listen to them speak, you probably don't want to leave your house. You probably don't want to leave your house when you listen to them speak.
But put it this way, again, and that's why I made a point, right? The law may have a particular approach to this is how we deal with X. and the law by itself does absolutely.
All right. So quickly here, because
just to make that one point, you need adequate policing of the law to make sure the law works.
Okay, good. Now, on telephone lines are open because one person said, "Oh, I've been calling you, and you didn't answer the phone." I said, "Okay, fam, we can open it at 8:30."
They communicated there. They get into you?
No, they communicated on my personal phone here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, yes, the lines are open, and the person just called back. I'm coming to you, caller, but let me take this comment here. It's from a lady, and she says, "A young man rented a vehicle over the Independence weekend with the police, and the police charged him for smooth tires. Who do you think should pay?"
The owner of the vehicle, obviously. But you see, you that up, and that is.
But it goes back to the question just now. You rent any old thing.
That's the point I'm making.
Yeah.
No. So one, if you go to rent a vehicle from somebody and you see it has smooth tires, would you
Don't
take it? Because your life is at risk. So the police shouldn't even have a chance to charge you. Although the police, too, in my opinion, should get to the owner of the vehicle because he's the one who has smooth tires.
The police should confiscate the vehicle, should take the vehicle,
and
let the owner come for it.
That's correct.
What is the minimum age to rent a vehicle in Grenada?
25 and over.
25 to rent a vehicle.
Well, put it this way: there's no minimum age to rent a vehicle.
Oh, shucks.
There's no, as far as I know.
So you can get your license today and rent tomorrow.
That's a question that I was getting to. No,
we have the call on the
line. Insurance company, as far as I know,
mm-hmm.
Insurance companies actually has in their contract that you should be 25 years and over. As a matter of fact, I don't want to use the word penalize. They rate as in offer a higher premium persons who are under 25 and driving for less than 2 years. Because I mean, you don't want to say to somebody who has the ability to buy a vehicle, you just started a job, you're 22 years old, you feel you want to buy a vehicle and you have the money to do it. We don't want to say to you, we're not insuring you. But because of your age and incidence of accidents with people in that age group,
mm-hmm.
that they say, okay, you know what, you fall into a risky age group, so we're going to charge you a little more because you represent a greater risk to the company.
Let's go to the caller. I don't want to keep the caller. Really, because the person's on a cell phone.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Donald. Good morning, Robert. I'm going to send the bill to your guy.
Yes, Stan Philip.
How are you doing, Robert?
I am doing good, boy. I'm doing good. Okay. Wish you all the side this morning, but fire myself.
You get invited to I've been listening for a while, and there are several things I could say. I just want to be sure. With regard to the roadside garages, there is something called contributory negligence. Insurance company, what it can do is create a claim and then claim against that the owner of the garage for the difference. So it is for the contribution that they would assess them to have made as far as the accident is concerned. And this is legally correct. You can invoke the contributory negligence clause and go after the garage owner. Those garage people know, not only the garage owner, you know, if you are going to be on the side of the road and I'm driving and an accident happens, I can prove that because your vehicle is stuck there, that's why the accident happened. You can be cited for contributing towards the accident. We don't do that here, but it can be done, and it can be successfully done if taken to court. So, people, I was driving in the United States and there was an accident. And if you want to charge in the States, move your vehicle after an accident.
Oh, yeah, you understand.
The police will come up. You have to stay there until the police complete the procedure. You go there, what happens? The man taps around the corner, and you coming around and you do an accident. As soon as the accident happens, you can't do it. Right? So in the place of the I'm crazy, I'm coming around the corner there and just running to your vehicle. Mm-hmm. So the issue of contributing is very relevant. And I think insurance companies should invoke that clause more often than they do it because people get away more.
But Stan, you know something, Stan, is that as you said, the police, they are not very firm on this. They don't bother.
I can come and drive my vehicle out, and nobody bothers to take that into consideration that would have contributed to the accident. So it's probably something that we need to, as individuals, and I'm not saying because we're not representing A insurance or B insurance here. As individuals, we need to start saying that, hey, these are things that need to be taken into consideration. And the police, because I'm believing that it is part of our traffic laws, and the police need to do their job.
It's what happens in the United States is that the person with the accident picks their number, but the police come and says, look, T655 was parked here and the accident happened.
Okay.
That's what happened. And they come up. In Grenada, we don't follow it up, but that is something that should be looked at. And as far as the security is concerned, that is one thing insurance companies need to do, right? To ensure that they make people be responsible for causing accidents. I can stay on for the rest of the evening because the morning.
Stan, I tell you.
That is my feel, but I'll have to leave you guys now.
Before you go, Stan, let me tell you, next time I'm having Robert, I hope that I'll be able to hook you up via the thingamajig.
Listen, Robert, Andrew.
Yes.
I don't want to sit here. I don't drink coffee, but I drink Milo. I come. Just tell me I'm going to come.
Here's one. Robert will be here next Tuesday morning, round about 7:30. Will you be here?
Yes, you invite me.
Okay, I just invited you.
Okay.
So you'll be here and Robert will be here next Tuesday morning at around the 7:30 hour. Okay?
No problem.
Breakfast is not included.
Come on.
But lunch is. We'll make sure we stay long enough, Stan.
Okay, guys.
Take care of yourself. Great.
All right.
Good.
Okay.
Robert, it's 8:39. It's nowhere close to ending the program, but we are making a difference already because the amount of questions that we get in, and we've gotten Stan to commit to come here next Tuesday, it means that this is something that we are on to here.
I tell you this, Andy. Again, like I said initially, after 31 years, you start to see the end of your days in this career, and you ask questions like, did I do enough? And you start to assess your contribution, not just in terms of the dollars you make, because some people feel, oh, insurance agents are make plenty money and don't take people money. How have I helped with respect to educating the public? Yeah, you may do it on a one-on-one, but are you reaching enough persons in helping them to understand how insurance works and why is it valuable and what are the do's and don'ts and all of those other things? Education is paramount, and that's why I've been considering this for a while, but you have to make something. Yeah. So this morning was impromptu, as I said, but now we need to organize and move structure something. I'm glad
Stan, that's great.
Right? At some other time we'll probably have other. This morning I intended to touch a bit on life insurance and all that.
It will come. It will come. I've got something for you, buddy, and when I give you this, it's gonna take care of lunch, it's breakfast, lunch, and then more than likely will take care of dinner.
Is that a tablet?
No, and as a matter of fact, it will take care of you. It will take care of you for the rest of the month.
What?
In the armpits.
In the armpits. My friend from Texas.
Of course, he's there. He's there. He's there. You could wave him. He's there.
Whoa, what's up, buddy?
He's there viewing.
Hey,
that take care of one.
There are two interesting things that happened to me in my career. I'll give you the very first. I ended up in Heritage Theater because Chris Dirks pursued me to sell me an insurance policy.
Okay.
Long story short, I bought the policy after many months. And that's an interesting thing, because at that age, I felt, me and no wife, me and no children, what am I buying insurance for? And other persons came. And I pretty much got away with, what? It's something good and I'll think about it. Let me talk about 2-3 months time. And you know what? Insurance agent before Chris Derricks had the stamina to call back in 2 or 3 months. That was too long for them, so they never bothered. When I told Chris 2 or 3 months, his face was, I never saw him finish. He said, okay, no problems, I'll call you. Why exactly 2 months after I got the car. And I put him off again for another 2 months. And exactly 2 months again after
You
that,
got the
I
car.
got the car. I felt Canada sick. And I bought my first insurance policy.
Great.
A couple of years afterwards, I got in. No, the same year I got into insurance. Right? And a couple of years after that, I was able not to return the compliment to Chris. Right? I sold Chris insurance. That was one of the interesting things. The second one is good partner fix. Right now, when I started my insurance career, he was one of my earlier clients. And he left Grenada. Now he resides in the US. And guess what? He got into the insurance industry. And we have had countless conversations. And it feels so good to rap with him because I learned from him and vice versa about new trends in the insurance industry and all of that. And again, they expose for different kind of markets. It's always interesting chatting with him. So Ryan, thanks. You can never do the thanks before just like this.
Yeah. But it's nice to have him viewing this morning. It's nice to have him viewing because though he hasn't seen you in a couple of years.
Well,
a couple of years.
Yeah.
So he's able to view, and he's now a regular viewer.
Yes.
He's now. I know he listens from time to time, but he's now. I know for sure. You important file. You're going to see Ryan Nelson Pariak on in the morning time. He's definitely, and that is good. And one of the things that we could do when we get the thingamajig fixed, the thingamajig by the carpenter.
Trust me, I just like the rule of that.
Thingamajig. When we get that fixed, then we can explore, or we can and he's saying thanks to you also. What we can do is to hear from the American side of this and how the insurance in the United States of America is how it can relate to insurances here and what are some of the do's and don'ts. And my son lives in New York. Can my son insure my life in New York? And all these things, we can talk about all these things.
There is in the world has become a much smaller place. We hear about a global village, a reference to a global village. And that is so correct. The advent of the internet has made that kind of communication, global communication, so like just with a click of a button. A telephone call to somebody in Japan or China is a WhatsApp call. It just as how I would just call you in Grenada here, a WhatsApp call. Right? A video conference, right? Or even just a video call between friends. No matter which part of the world you are, it is commonplace. When our aunt before was overseas and she spent 10 years, you didn't see her in 10 years unless she sent her photo.
Exactly.
And when she decided to make a phone call, when I was growing up, she decided to call. She forced us to call and say she will call back in an hour. And then you bathe and dress and grease your food and everything to go down by the neighbor to get a phone call. You have to dress up. In those days, they still had no video calls. So I want to know what I dress nothing. But I guess once you live in your home, you have to dress up. I'm saying all of that now is just until she picks the phone up and she video calls you every day, sometimes 2-3 times a day. The communication is such that people are more connected. Well, they should be. I mean, still there are some people who don't video, or they still busy. But the point is that the world is at a different place. And now that we are in closer connectivity / communication, we can share information. We can share experiences, so we can piggyback on what happens up the road. We can have the knowledge. Yes?
Here's this one for you. Would they consider transferring benefits that you will get from insurance providers in the US to Grenada? And what about global health insurance, where you can receive your benefits if you fall sick in another part of the world?
I'll tell you something. My first response is not yet. But my second, I'll follow up very quickly, not impossible. Of course, it requires collaboration between companies, right, with respect to sharing of it pretty much the same as a telecommunications company will share the expense of a call. So you're in China, you go through 5 different companies before they call you to Grenada, and everybody gets a decent pie. I would think if you model something like that, right? We might be able to eventually offer global health insurance so that every part of a claim. I'm just thinking right, but I'm saying the way the world is going now, I don't think it's impossible.
You see, what is important is this: is the fact that by you get coming here and raising the subject matter, we are able to generate questions like these, comments like these, and it shows you that you're not speaking in a vacuum, and that there's a definite need for us to continue this.
Sure, sure, I agree. People have questions, they doesn't have the medium,
Mhm.
all right, to route it through.
So what we probably need to do here is that we can the next time you come, we basically can sit and chat with Stan and then see how we can structure this and put it together. But once we know that you're going to be here, say 2 Tuesdays of the month or 1 Tuesday for the month, then we can do a promo and say, okay, fine. On this Tuesday, we discussing insurances in Karaku, and then some of the do's and don'ts that you do. And if you are going to Karaku on business, Robert, you decide, look, I don't want to rent a vehicle in Karaku. I want to drive my own vehicle in Karaku. The boat is probably costing you $200-$300 to bring up your vehicle, and you're going to be in Karaku for 5-6 days, which is less than
the cost of a rented
vehicle. But God forbid something happens on the boat and they have to roll off your vehicle to save lives. Remember, your vehicle is going. Now, would the insurance cover you on that boat? All these things that we could discuss.
And I have an answer to this.
No, I don't want to answer.
But I have an answer to this, but I prefer to hold the answer just to double check.
Yeah.
Because in recent times, I saw some information that excited me. But the excitement that I saw, I want to make sure that I double check it and make sure that it is as I understand it. So I will not give the answer no.
Look at it again.
I can tell you what I saw excited me.
Excited you. Travel insurance is a model that can be discussed? Is that the word? I'm not too sure if that's expanded. That's coming from Ryan.
Travel insurance. I guess it's before.
Travel insurance is a model that can be expanded
to allow for global insurance coverage.
Yes, because maybe just so.
And that is a possibility. That's a possibility, Ryan. I know there are companies. Not every company included the travel insurance, but there are some who engage in that product. I agree.
There's one spinning for you at the top, Robert. A lady's asking, when you insure your house for fire, is stealing included?
Well, she answered the question herself. If you just insure
for fire, it's not.
No, unless the thief burn the house with it. But you see, and again, no, what comes to mind here? Because historically, there are coverages where you could just insure for fire, right? But one needs to understand what are the exposures. So you may go to the insurance company and you need to find out what is this covered? What am I covered for? Because I might be in an area that is prone to burglary. Now that doesn't make the insurance company too happy because you might be at greater than average risk. But they will still do the business. Why? Because there are other persons who they cover. Again, remember I said the law of averages. But you would want to make sure that if everybody's tipping up there, that you probably would want to make sure, ensure that you have that cover inside of the policy, right? To the extent that the company will give you, because if everybody in that area is tipping, or if that area has a very high incidence of burglary, it probably doesn't make the insurance company too comfortable because it's almost like, it's not a probability now that your house will get broken. It is a definite possibility that your house will get broken. And that kind of goes against the grain of insurance. But still, have those conversations with your insurance provider so you know what you're getting.
Robert White, it's like 8 minutes now. I make it before the top of the hour.
Before 9 o'clock?
Yeah.
We've been here that long?
We've been here that long. Yeah, 8 minutes before 9. I don't think we should continue along that path because we really and truly don't have the time. But we have agreed that this is the the baby that we've started with.
Yeah.
We have agreed that it's the baby that we've started with. And I love the fact that you decided that there was not going to be any names of different insurance companies and whatever.
This to be.
And I would like, yes, the telephone lines will open for persons to make comments and to have questions. And I will prefer us not name any insurance companies. Not that I'm afraid of a lawsuit. No, it's not that. It's just that, hey, just leave the brands alone. Let's deal with insurance.
Insurance, the broad brush.
The broad brush, insurance, and not necessarily go into A insurance or B insurance. We just not mention them. Trust me on this. They will get the message.
Well, they should.
They will get the message. Because once we start coming with the intelligent comments, the intelligent questions and queries, they will start listening.
And I tell you this, the questions and comments and queries this morning, in my opinion, were all spot on. So I'll brand all of them as intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
All of them. Yep.
There's something I was supposed to ask you. Yes, and when you spoke about persons purchasing a car when they're like under 25 and stuff like that, bank gives them a loan, or the mother or father gives them some money and they decide they're going out to buy a car, and the insurance, of course, will be like up there. What if my daughter is going to be 18 in a couple of weeks? She, of course, would want to drive. So I know it's the request for, Daddy, can you handle me so I can get my license? Okay, fine. I decided, fine, yes. She gets her license. What if I had enough funds to purchase a vehicle for her? And I purchased the vehicle and I said, okay, fine, here's this, you can drive. I licensed the vehicle and everything, but it's not licensed. It's not registered to her. It's not licensed in her name. Is that against the insurance laws? That was my question for you. Is that against the laws of the insurance?
In writing up the application, the company would seek information. So the form is designed to capture information as who will be driving this vehicle. Now, and they tell you that if you have, that may not be covered for persons under 25 and over 2 years, if you just insure it in your name, right, with just you as a driver. Now, if you want to have it open, because you can have an open, all my vehicles and my rental, well, obviously the rental is open. My private vehicles are open. But having it open doesn't necessarily mean open to give any and everybody to drive. Open so that anybody who drives with your permission and they have a license to drive that category of vehicle. But they also fall under that age. So if they're under 25 and driving for less than 2 years, they're not covered. Unless you negotiate with the company and say, well, here's what. Look at my situation. I have my daughter. She just got her license. Right? But I would like her to drive. And the company may respond one or two ways. Well, sorry, Mr. Donald, we can't afford to take the risk. So we're not able to offer you insurance. And that's a fair response. Right? You know where you stand. You know where they stand. You can seek another provider. Or they can say to you, okay, Mr. Donald, well, we have considered the risk. How long is she driving? She just got her license. How old is she? She's under 25. Well, we may take that into consideration. You have this business with us, that business with us. I mean, this is all right. So guess what? We're going to work with you. We're going to rate you. You've got to pay an extra $200, $500, $700, whatever the figure is, based on, of course, value of vehicles and everything like that. But we are going to cover her while she's driving your vehicle, despite she's under. Right? So you can get any one of those responses. But the key is people, I want to repeat that. Give the insurance company the necessary information so that they know the extent of the risk that they're taking. What you do not want is that you hide information because you figure, well, if I tell them that she may not, they might increase my premium or they may not cover me at all. And I want that. I want to make sure I get covered. So you tell them that it's just you, and then you give the vehicle to her, and she meets in an accident. No, you have a in a spot about it.
What if the person is 26 years old and they just got their license?
Very interesting question. You see what I told you this morning? All the questions are intelligent
I'm a
questions.
genius.
I know. I can tell both in look and in thought.
Okay, let me just make sure the look happens.
No. Geniuses always look good. Just because they don't pay a lot of attention to something.
To looks.
No.
So I need to pull my tie out and keep my hair unkempt and everything like that. Anyway, yeah.
So if you're 26, the expectation now is that your reason, your level of maturity is a bit different than somebody who's 25 and just get a license. So you are more mature, and we expect you to make more mature decisions. You still, however, present a risk in that your drive experience, you haven't gained that amount of experience yet because you just got a license. So they will still rate you, but not as much as had you been the 18-year-old and just got a license.
Okay, we're out of time. I'm gonna steal. Hold on, Robert. I have to steal this because I don't want anybody. Somebody saying, very good question for me, Andre. My son is in the same boat. All right. So here's Barclay Atlanta. Good morning, bro. Okay, no, but he's saying but what if one wants to mention to the insurance company name in a positive light? No. We still not taking. We don't want names of insurance at all. For this time, we don't want names of insurance. Excellent program. Should be a continuous program to educate the public. Excellent comment. We would expect to have your contribution re-advertising in the program. We'll prefer no insurance companies, maybe an eating company. Realize we didn't say drinking, yeah? We didn't say drinking. We said maybe an eating company. Robert, I give you a minute.
I want to say, Andre, thanks again for the opportunity to start this program. I'm very excited about where we can take this. You and I have had discussion about this for eons, and for some reason it just never got off the ground. And even as impromptu as it was this morning, I think it represents a very good start. And I look forward to us doing this thing in the future. I look forward to not just being me. I mean, I probably will have, with you initiated this, but I expect it to be. That's what I like to see, a platform where other insurance persons can be invited ever so often, like we did with Stan. We want to also feature persons from life insurance side of things. And they can get an opportunity to educate the public. Now, that's to me the greatest benefit in doing this.
And we would love to have a situation where we do not have to mention insurance companies.
No,
we love to stick with that. Yes. We started off that way. Let us not mention. You can speak to experience that you would have had with different insurance companies, but qualify them company 1, company 2, company A, B, or C. That way, we don't want to step on anybody's cons anyway, and try to show someone as being not good at their art.
So the objective is to educate, and yes, experiences, good or bad, may be necessary to come to the fore, so we can say, okay, how could we guide this? How could we have avoided that, as opposed to just naming for the sake of name and blame?
Yeah,
that's not what we want.
Robert S.P. White, thank you ever so much for a wonderful morning. It has indeed been a thrill. We've got news next, friends. Stay with us. And to our viewers, it was nice having you. Hold on, Robert. You need to give us a little wave there. I'll tell you when to wait. Hold on. You can't just wait. Just wait. Now you can wave. Wave your flag if you have it. Is Elizabethan wave?
No, that's Philip. That's Philip.
Philip wave. I'm feeling like a wave of Philip idea this morning. Friends, it was indeed a joy being with you this morning. I really and truly, I take this opportunity to thank you ever so much for being a part of our program this morning. Whether you listened via radio or you viewed via this medium. All right. God bless you. Take care. And we'll catch you again. That will be tomorrow morning, God's will. Tomorrow morning? Yeah, tomorrow morning. Goodbye. Take care. What's that? Yes, I'll be here tomorrow morning. Most definitely. Bye-bye now, folks. Take care.
Informative, entertaining, and first. Every hour on the hour.